Would the country be better off without black churches that are predominantly black uh, in membership and attendance? Among all the off the wall ideas which a lot of people are coming up with, especially the white supremacists and people like that, they is the idea that, oh, the black churches are too political, stirring up people's passions in the wrong way. All these types of things. Somehow or another they fail to see anything positive in anything. It's always negative, especially when it comes to people of a different race, that they can't have their own particular way of worship. The black churches has a very rich flavor and a very rich culture, and they have a very real place in the lives of black people. And it is, it's a wonderful way of expressing oneself. It's very creative. It provides a place where problems can be discussed in a way that they're not interfered with by people of other races, and it is just generally a very wholesome and family oriented type of, like the black family oriented type of a situation where a lot of good is being done for black people and black families. Of course, one of the problems we have is in the country is because of the poverty and because of the political situation that has been in this country for the past 100 years or so, and all of the different pressures that have been put on black people because of the environment that they live in and because of the lack of resources and so forth, is that the family, has a harder time staying together, in a traditional sense. And the church the black church provides a way to draw those families together and give them the resources and give them the general passion to have workable families. And it encourages the men of the church, to really be real men and take care of their families and take care of their wives and so forth and their children, and even provides jobs for them and all kinds of things like that. And so it would be, a tragedy. Of course, it's not going to happen anyway. And why would these different people like the supremacists and all, be able to do anything about that anyway? Because that has nothing to do with them. It's not their prerogative to decide, what we need and what we don't need, or who's being too political and who's not. I mean, that's the decision of the particular deacons and leadership of the particular church and the pastor there, how much politics they're going to discuss. And maybe that politics is not discussed anywhere else, and maybe the people don't get together like that anywhere else, and so maybe it is a needed thing. It is a needed thing. That's what I'm saying, is it is a needed thing. But yeah, it's the black church is a very, very profitable and needed thing in this country, and has always been. It's always been a wonderful blessing to the country, and I've always enjoyed attending them, and these kind of the churches that are predominantly black, and I even enjoy preaching that way, the way that many of the black preachers preach. When I preach, I enjoy that, as far as I can can add up to the to preaching as well as many of our black preachers can preach. But I enjoy trying anyway. But no, we need to begin to. There's a lot of situations in this country where we're really not asking ourselves the right questions, and we really don't have the right vision. And many people trying to say what needs to be done who doesn't even know what they're talking about. You never have even visited a black church or know anything about the services, and yet, why are these black people pulling off over here into a church of their own, where the only black people are. And and then the ridiculous things about, well, why do they have a different way of worship? Well, that's superficial thinking. Why don't you just try to put yourself in other people's shoes and realize how that the black church come about? I think there's even a series of videos on here. I know there is on YouTube that tells about how the black church come about and how a lot of the flavor and everything of it, come about because of all the troubles that the black people went through and how they had to more or less, like the children of Israel, they had to come out of their situation in Egypt, and a lot of this, hard times that they went through and everything added to it, and the music and everything, is the flavor and the texture and everything of the music has added to our own, the own dominant culture in their church services and in their music. Has added to it. Has added flavor even to them, and it's added flavor into the popular songs, and everything from Motown to everything else. Diana Ross and all the rest of them. Aretha Franklin, all these, Aretha Franklin, of course, the daughter of C.L. Franklin, and, his sermons, I love to hear his sermons, but Aretha Franklin grew up singing and learning her how to sing, developing her voice and everything in that black church, which gave us a very, rich, gave us something very added to our list of good songs and good music in this country. Became the Queen of Soul and really blessed a lot of people in her songs and were very lively songs, and so we need to really stop and think about what contribution have black people in general, but especially the black church, made to this country and to the overall ability of people in this country to get along. So, this is another thing, black people and the dominant culture and people of all races get along better because of the black church, being in existence and what the contributions it has made. Black people are going to be able to function a lot better, get along a lot better, have better lives, more prosperity, and everything, It was bad enough that the black people were thrown out after the freedom of the slaves and into without and not given the resources to begin to build wealth and all like that, and then having a sort of a fake reconstruction, and then it being abandoned because of the change in political parties and all, and the vision being lost of what needed to really be done, and just saying, well, they're over here, out of sight, out of mind, and then to begin to say, well, okay, then you're going to say, well, what about the contribution that the black church played to taking care of that situation and helping to bring it to the place where so much different from what most people are trying to think and say, it actually helped to bring them to the place where it produces a person like Dr. Martin Luther King that was able to gain the ability to communicate and education and everything that, the motivation to education and all the other motivations that he had and the callings that he had for the most part, was able to be called not only into the ministry, but be called to be a sort of a Moses and lead his people out. And then he was able to talk to the presidents at that time and everything and get some things done as far as voting rights and everything, which you'd have to have leadership ability. Now, where were they going to get the leadership ability, without the black church? This is how the speech, how that many of the black leaders and those even that, went later into Congress and everything and run for president and so forth like that, where they got their training in speaking, their opportunities. Many opportunities given to people in the black churches, the black of the black people, that the white people the Caucasian people and the Asian people would never have given them, the other people in the country, the other races of people, the dominant culture, would never have given them that opportunity to grow like that and have a leadership ability and starting out leading in the church and starting out preaching in the church and things like that, which provided opportunities which often wish we had in the Caucasian churches of the dominant culture. I wish we had more of those kind of opportunities like the black people provide their people in the black churches. And so I just, wanted to address. What I'm doing is I'm addressing all these different crazy ideas that these white supremacists like Richard Spencer and others coming up with. They taking them one at a time and addressing all of their different ways of getting at their idea that the Caucasian people are superior, and that therefore they're superior because just look at the things that black people do and the way they have their churches and they stay there all day and dance around and listen and talk about politics and how bad the Caucasian people are and how bad the dominant culture and all this kind of thing. This is their idea of it. Rather than that, there needs to be training in how to begin to strengthen and empower the black people. It's actually training in how to strengthen and empower the black people. And we need God. All of us need God. Every church needs God in order to become great leaders and strengthen ourselves and bring ourselves to the point we need to be. And especially in among the black people, they need that empowerment that the black church gives. And boy, this is getting into some really good stuff. I may have to do a bunch of videos on this. But yeah, it's very empowering. The black churches are very empowered. I mean, it would do Caucasian people good to learn some of the things that have been, the ways that they go about teaching their people and making disciples. We don't, so many of the Caucasian churches and the other churches of other races don't have near the network and near the ability to help their people to grow and lead and preach and everything else and become great leaders as what the black church has. And so we need to encourage the black churches to really become stronger and pray more and get together more and have a greater vision. And it's going to be instrumental in really changing the future and making the future brighter for the whole country. And the stronger that black church is, the stronger our whole country is going to be. And they produce everything from good citizens to good soldiers to good leaders of every kind. Many of them, being coming from the leadership qualities that they received and the training they received in the black churches. So it's a marvelous thing when we begin to really open our eyes and look around and see what beautiful cultures we have in this country and what beautiful ways different people have of adding to the culture. And for those few that are trying to detract from it, we have so many that are really adding a flavor and a culture that's just really does make for a better nation and a better overall situation for everybody. So I think that we need to begin to mull over ideas in our mind more and ask God to give us a greater vision about what has really made this country great and what has really added to this country and what this country would be like without some of our other races. What would this country be? Well, just ask yourself, what would the country be without black churches? I mean, whether or not the black people were there as they, come out of slavery and everything, and even if they weren't any black people here, what would the country be like without, the black people and the black churches and the contribution they've made? We need to ask ourselves all these questions. So I'm going to pray right now that we'll gain a greater vision. Oh, my blessed Lord, in the name of thy blessed Holy Son Jesus, give us a greater vision. Give us a greater understanding. Anybody needs healed, raise them up right now, heal their soul, and give them a vision to heal them and make them happy in every way. Give them joy in their life. And pray in the name of thy Holy Son Jesus. Amen and amen and amen.